I ran until my very feet gave in, leaving behind rebirth akin to my sins, stumbling into a valley veiled in fog, yearning to soar high like a majestic hawk. Footsteps echoing like crabs skittering on the shore, no weapon in reach, defenseless I bore. Echoes multiplied, their screams filled the air, panic consumed me as hands reached with despair. But time had come, the precipice in sight, the pole stood tall, the last glimpse of light. A final prayer escaped my trembling plea. O Oakran, my God, why did I flee? Oh, let my spirit find solace and peace in realms unknown where sorrows cease. My lessons I've learned in the last fleeting breath guide others away from the Fogman's deceive. Within the world of Kenshi, the Fogmen are a horrifying hive faction that overwhelms you with sheer numbers, eventually knocking you out and dragging you to their poles. Here, their fog princes feast upon your living flesh. Little is known about the origins of the Deadhive. Some speculate that the Deadhive consists of corrupted hivers infected by some sort of parasite, while others believe that their zombified behavior stems from the fog itself. Greetings, fellow Kenshi players, and welcome to the corruption of the Deadhive. In today's video, we will delve into the lore behind the Fogmen and theorize about their origins. I also want to acknowledge that in my last theory video, the sound quality wasn't up to par, and I made a few small spelling errors along the way. Moving forward, I will ensure better spelling and improve my sound quality. So without further ado, let us now head into the Foglands. Let me begin my theory by discussing the fog itself and its origins. While numerous theories surround the Fogmen and their corruption, what is the connection to the fog? Where did it come from? And why doesn't it spread to other parts of Kenshi? And what does it have to do with the Deadhive? The Fog Islands are located near Drake, Oakran's Gulf, and Obedience. The last one may hold the answer to our question. The neighboring zone of Obedience could potentially be the reason. In the past, when the lands were ruled by the ancients, they crafted behemoths, gigantic skeletons, presumably used for warfare. After the war, the ancients either grew fearful of their creation or no longer had use for them. Consequently, they allowed the behemoths to march into Obedience, submerging them in a form of liquid metal that completely enveloped them. The smoke, or byproduct of this process, could be the reason for the fog. This, however, is purely speculative. However, it still doesn't explain why only hivers turn into fogmen, while human and shag remain unaffected by the fog. Curiously, one might assume that venturing into the fog and facing countless mad hivers would be unthinkable. Yet, towering in the middle of the Fog Islands is a city, the city of Mongrel. When you enter the city, a guard says the following: "People don't make it a habit visiting here. If you're lucky enough to make it to Mongrel, you're stuck in Mongrel." What may pose a significant threat to one's life also acts as defense against external forces. Mongrel is an independent faction, living without the rules of the larger factions. Led by the legendary swordsman Ark and guarded by formidable shinobi warriors, the city stands strong. However, considering the lore, Mongrel will eventually run out of food and supplies, as no trader would risk traversing the Foglands, and those who do would eventually be overwhelmed. The city's survival is uncertain in the face of the never-ending catastrophe posed by the Fogman. Before we move on to the next topic, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What is your theory regarding the fog? Also, if you enjoy this form of content, please consider becoming a subscriber or liking the video. Now let's take a closer look at the Deadhive and its hierarchy. It becomes evident that the Fogmen are hivers who, for some unknown reason, developed blue skin. In addition to this change, they possess less durability than their Western hiver counterparts. However, newcomers to Kenshi should not underestimate the weakness of the Fogmen, as their strength lies not in their individual stats, but in their overwhelming numbers. What makes the Deadhive unique is the absence of a queen. Operating without a queen and still growing in numbers further supports the theory that they were once normal hivers. The Fog Princes sit on top of this hierarchy, closely followed by the Fog Heavies and the Fog Workers. Yet I find myself questioning if there isn't another entity lurking in the shadows, guiding the Fogmen. For instance, I once did a playthrough called the Fog King, a Hive Praetorian emerging from his cave to attack the living. Although this idea is interesting, given the nature of the Fogmen, I doubt this to be the case. However, this leaves room for us to create our own stories, and this is why I love Kenshi. For the next part in the video, I got assistance from my mate Slippin. He will now tell you about the world state of the Fogmen in Kenshi.
The Western Hive Queen resides on an island, close to the shores of Dreg and Vane. If you decide to eliminate her, the Fogmen will swiftly begin swarming the Hive villages. Or if you do the former, Hivers become one with the Deadhive. This is an interesting theory that many believe to be true. The corruption could be linked to the pheromones of the Western Hive Queen, and if the Hivers don't receive them, they start to become corrupted. However, if that were the case, other Hivers around Kenshi would also turn into Fogmen, which clearly isn't happening. So it might just be a combination of two elements. Being cut off from the Queen and consuming too much fog, or perhaps catching a parasite from the Fogmen. But then again, why aren't the Hivers in Mongrel turning into the Deadhive? Or maybe, just maybe, there is a Deadhive Queen hiding somewhere out in the depths of the fog, relentlessly producing more without concern for their numbers. This could explain why there are so many Fogmen. We don't know if we will ever receive an answer to these questions. And Kenshi 2 might introduce even more mysteries to explore.
Indeed, this topic becomes even more crazy when we consider the Southern Hive in Kenshi. Located in a different part of the world with its main capital in the Royal Valley, the hostile queen of the Southern Hive sits on her throne in the middle of the valley, commanding her forces. While I won't go into extensive detail about the Red Hive in this video, it's worth noting that once you eliminate the queen, the Fogmen begin to invade the Southern Hive. However, it's unclear whether they're invading or actually becoming part of the Deadhive. I find it hard to believe that the Deadhive would travel all the way from the Fog Islands to the Royal Valley just to take over. Whatever the case may be, it further complicates this theory, and I could do this for hours just theorizing about this lore, but I think it's time that we wrap up things and come to an end. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this brief journey into the fog. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments and share your opinions on this topic. I want to give a shout out to my friend Slippin, who has been supportive to this channel in the past and helped me grow by quite a bit. If you could kindly head over to his channel, and show him some love, this would mean a lot to me. Now, my fellow Kenshi players, stay safe out there when you travel through Kenshi, and don't let the Fogman catch you. Farewell, and until next time.